The Silent Observers. Admiral Sarah Kane stood at the observation deck of Earth's supposedly primitive orbital station, watching the Archean diplomatic vessel dock with practiced grace. Her weathered features remained carefully neutral as she observed the crystalline ship's approach, though her mind was anything but calm. After 15 years of calculated submission, of playing the role of an eager but naive species, today would test humanity's patience like never before. There, right on schedule, Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez reported from his station, his voice carrying the same manufactured enthusiasm they'd all perfected over the years. The Archean High Delegate's biosigns indicate supreme confidence. Again, Kane allowed herself a small smile, the kind that would be interpreted as nervous excitement by the alien observers. If only they knew their own biosigns had been an open book to humanity for over a decade. The primitive sensors they believed decorated the station were actually quantum state readers of unprecedented sophistication, developed in secret labs buried deep beneath Earth's oceans. Very good, Commander. Let's welcome our mentors appropriately. The pause was calculated, just enough to reinforce their carefully crafted image of eager students still learning diplomatic protocol. The Archean delegation swept into the reception chamber exactly as their psychological profiles had predicted. All 6 of their crystalline forms arranged in a perfect hierarchy display, bioluminescent patterns radiating what humans had long ago decoded as smug superiority. Esteemed representatives of Earth, High Delegate Ixel's translator hummed, its patronizing tone unchanged after 15 years. We bring joyous news. The Galactic Council has finally deemed your species ready for Level 2 technology access. Kane bowed exactly 5 degrees too low, a mistake that would reaffirm their perceived cultural awkwardness. We are honored, High Delegate. Earth has long awaited this moment. What the Archeans didn't know, what none of the Council races knew, was that humanity had surpassed Level 2 technology roughly 8 years ago. The quantum computation labs, they thought were simple fusion research facilities, had cracked the barriers between dimensions while alien observers nodded approvingly at Earth's primitive attempts to harness nuclear power. Of course, there will be oversight requirements. Another delegate chimed in, crystal facets gleaming. For your own protection, naturally. Naturally, Kane agreed, watching through augmented reality contacts as hidden quantum sensors decoded the delegates' private communications. Their crystalline bodies acted as natural transmitters, broadcasting their true intentions to anyone who knew how to listen. The humans continue to develop exactly as projected. Within 5 years, their resources will be fully integrated into the Council economy. Excellent. Their solar system's rare element deposits will fuel our expansion for centuries, and they suspect nothing of the behavioral conditioning hidden in their Level 2 tech packages. Kane maintained her diplomatic smile, even as she sent an encrypted quantum burst to Earth Command. The Archeans had finally confirmed what humanity had suspected for years. The Council's mentorship program was nothing more than long-term resource theft and species subjugation. We have prepared a celebration, Kane announced, gesturing toward the station's grand hall. A humble demonstration of human gratitude. As the delegation moved forward, none of them noticed the nanoscale quantum recorders being shed from their crystalline forms with every step. Their arrogance had made them careless, assuming that a species they'd kept at Level 1 technology couldn't possibly detect, let alone understand, their natural quantum communications. In her secured cognitive space, Kane reviewed humanity's true technological status. Quantum computing, mastered. Dimensional physics, mapped. The very behavioral conditioning systems the Archeans plan to use, reversed engineered and improved upon years ago. But today's revelation was different. Today they had confirmation that the Council didn't just see humanity as students to be guided, but as resources to be exploited. A primitive species to be slowly stripped of independence while being fed dreams of advancement. As she guided the delegation toward their carefully orchestrated reception, Kane sent another quantum burst. Operation Looking Glass is now active. All cells prepare for Phase 1. Humanity had spent 15 years building their cage, making it comfortable, convincing their would-be masters that everything was proceeding according to plan. Now it was time to show the galaxy why patience shouldn't be mistaken for weakness. The Arxian delegates raised their crystalline forms in a toast, their facets catching the light like predatory eyes. They couldn't see the quantum entanglement fields already mapping their every molecule, couldn't detect the dimensional anchors being placed around their ships. To humanity's bright future, High Delegate Ixel proclaimed. To revelations, Kane answered, her smile now genuine, but for entirely different reasons. The game was about to change, and only one side knew they were playing. Beneath the mask, deep within Titan's methane seas, Dr. Maya Patel watched holographic displays dance across the supposedly non-existent quantum laboratory. The facility, masked from alien observation by technology the Council races thought impossible for humans to conceive, hummed with barely contained power. Status report on Project Oracle, she commanded, her voice steady, despite the weight of 2 decades of deception resting on her shoulders. Quantum network infiltration at 98% coverage. Her AI assistant responded, its consciousness distributed across dimensional planes the Council hadn't even theorized yet. We're intercepting approximately 43 million discrete communications per second from Council space. Maya nodded, watching as the AI categorized and analyzed the quantum encrypted messages that the various Council races thought were completely secure. The arrogance of their supposed mentors had been their greatest weakness. They never thought to guard against technologies they believed humans were centuries from developing. Show me the latest intercepts from the Arxian home system, she ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing conversations that would have sent shockwaves through the galactic community if they weren't being suppressed by the Council's inner circle. The human containment protocols are proceeding ahead of schedule. Their eagerness to please makes them perfect subjects for the Resource Extraction Initiative. Indeed, their solar system's wealth will fuel our expansion for generations once the behavioral modifications take full effect. The other developing species should take note. This is how you properly manage primitive races. Maya's hand clenched involuntarily, but her face remained impassive. After years of watching similar conversations, she had mastered the art of controlling her reactions. Cross-reference with Operation Looking Glass parameters. New data streams appeared, showing the carefully orchestrated web of quantum sensors, dimensional taps, and consciousness probes that humanity had secretly woven throughout Council space. Every patronizing meeting, every generous technological gift, every seemingly innocent cultural exchange had been an opportunity to expand their true capabilities. Director, her eye interrupted. We're detecting unusual activity in the Arxian quantum networks. They appear to be preparing for a major coordination effort. Maya's eyes narrowed. Show me. The data coalesced into a pattern that confirmed their worst suspicions. The Council wasn't just planning to exploit Earth. They were preparing to fundamentally alter human consciousness itself through their gift of Level 2 technology. Quantum analysis suggests a 97% probability they will attempt to implement the changes within the next solar month, the AI reported. The behavioral modification systems are already being calibrated for human neural patterns. Maya opened a secure quantum channel to Admiral Kane's station. Sarah, are you seeing this? Crystal clear, Kane's voice replied. Encrypted across dimensional frequencies the Council couldn't detect. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. The arrogance is staggering. They have no reason to hide. Maya said, her voice bitter. As far as they know, we're just simple primitives playing with the toys they've given us. The quantum encoding on these transmissions is supposed to be centuries beyond our comprehension. A new alert flashed across her display. The Council was accelerating their timeline. The behavioral modification systems were being loaded into the Level 2 technology packages even now. We can't wait any longer, Maya decided, authorizing a series of commands that would activate dormant quantum systems throughout Council space. Initiate Protocol Prometheus. It's time to show them exactly what humanity has been doing while they were busy patting themselves on the back. Around her, the hidden facility's power signature began to rise as systems that had been waiting for years came fully online. Throughout the solar system, similar facilities hidden beneath Mars' polar ice, within Venus's crushing atmosphere, and in the hearts of distant asteroids began powering up. "Send the signal to all cells," Maya ordered. "Operation Looking Glass is entering Phase 2. Let's show our mentors what their star pupils have really learned." Across Council space, quantum probes that had been gathering data for years began to shift from passive observation to active infiltration. The cage humanity had appeared to accept was about to become a trap, not for Earth, but for those who thought they could subjugate humanity through patronizing manipulation. As Maya watched the quantum networks light up with their true capabilities, she allowed herself a small smile. The Council thought they were shepherding a primitive species toward a carefully controlled future. They were about to learn that humanity had been playing a much longer game. The mask was about to come off, and the galaxy would never be the same. The breaking point. General Marcus Chen stood in Earth's quantum-shielded war room, watching as decades of careful planning began to unfold. The holographic display before him showed thousands of points of light, each representing a hidden human asset about to activate across Council space. "Sir, we're detecting increased quantum chatter from the Arxian fleet," his tactical officer reported. "They're beginning final preparations for the neural modification rollout." Chen's expression hardened as he watched the Council's ships move into position around Earth, their crews confident in their technological superiority. On their quantum channels, they discussed humanity's future as if planning a simple maintenance procedure. "How fitting," Chen murmured. "They choose this moment to finally show their true colors." He opened a secure channel to all Earth defense commands. "Initialize Operation Checkmate. Authorization code, Prometheus Rising." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden technological achievements began to stir. Quantum computers that had been masquerading as primitive fusion reactors spun up to full power. Dimensional anchors buried within seemingly innocent communication satellites activated, creating an invisible web of control points throughout space. "Sir," his AI assistant's voice was calm but urgent. "The Arxian flagship is preparing to broadcast the initial neural modification signal. Their targeting systems are locked on Earth's major population centers." Chen nodded, watching the alien ships position themselves with perfect tactical precision. Perfect, that is, if they were actually facing a primitive species with only Level 1 technology. Let them fire the first shot. Everything is recorded. Every quantum transmission, every planning session, every smug declaration of their superiority. The evidence is irrefutable. The Arxian flagship's signal began to pulse, reaching out with technologies they believed would reshape human consciousness into a more manageable form. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then humanity showed its hand. Quantum fields that had been carefully hidden throughout the solar system flared to life, catching the modification signal and redirecting it through processing arrays that had been waiting for this moment for years. The Council ships suddenly found their broadcasts trapped in a web of technologies they hadn't believed possible for centuries. Signal captured and contained, Maya's voice came through from the Titan facility, initiating quantum backtrack protocols now. Chen watched as humanity's true defensive grid revealed itself. The aliens' own quantum networks began to light up with alarm as their ships discovered they could no longer access their secure communication channels. "This is General Marcus Chen of Earth Defense Command." He broadcast on all frequencies, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's collected grievances. "We have recorded and contained your attempted attack on our species. Your neural modification signal has been intercepted. Your quantum networks are now under our control." The Arxian ships hung motionless in space, their crews suddenly discovering that none of their advanced systems would respond. The quantum technologies they had thought safely encrypted were now turning against them, their own ships becoming prisons. "But this is impossible. The Arxian High Delegate's voice crackled across the emergency channels. Your species cannot have this level of technology. The containment protocols were exactly what we wanted you to see, Chen finished. While you were busy congratulating yourselves on managing us so well, we were learning, advancing, preparing. He gestured, and holographic displays appeared around every council ship, showing them the true extent of human technological achievement. Quantum computers that dwarfed their most advanced systems, dimensional engineering that made their space travel look primitive, defense systems that had been hiding in plain sight, disguised as the primitive technology they expected to see. For decades, you've treated us like children, Chen continued, his voice level but carrying an edge of steel. You've planned to strip our resources, modify our minds, and reduce us to servants. Every patronizing smile, every condescending lecture, every attempted manipulation has been recorded. The quantum networks blazed with panic as the council races realized the full extent of their miscalculation. Their carefully laid plans were unraveling, and the primitive species they had planned to subjugate was revealing itself to be anything but helpless. The game is over, Chen declared. Now, shall we discuss the terms of your surrender? Or would you prefer to see just how far humanity has advanced while you weren't paying attention? The breaking point had arrived, and with it, the galaxy's balance of power was about to shift dramatically. Humanity's patience had served its purpose. Now it was time for consequences. Checkmate. The Galactic Council's emergency chamber had never been so silent. The collected representatives of the most powerful species in known space sat frozen as holographic displays showed their carefully constructed facade of superiority crumbling across thousands of star systems. High Counselor Ixel's crystalline form pulsed with distress as reports continued to flood in. Human quantum technology was appearing everywhere, emerging from dimensional spaces their scientists had claimed were theoretical. Their most secure facilities, their hidden research stations, their secret military installations, all had been compromised years ago. How did we not see this? The Meridian representative's bioluminescence flickered with panic. Our quantum networks were supposed to be impenetrable. Because you saw exactly what we wanted you to see, Ambassador Elena Santos stated calmly as she walked into the chamber. The human diplomat's simple presence now carried a weight it never had before. You were so convinced of your superiority that you never questioned why we accepted your restrictions so easily. The quantum displays around the chamber activated, showing the true extent of human infiltration. Every patronizing conversation, every secret meeting, every planned manipulation of Earth's development, all had been recorded, analyzed, and prepared as evidence. Impossible, one of the council members whispered. The quantum encryption was broken 5 years ago, Santos interrupted. While you were congratulating yourselves on giving us fusion technology, we had already mastered dimensional engineering. Every gift you gave us was reverse-engineered within months. Every restriction you placed on us became a challenge to overcome. The chamber's quantum security systems suddenly activated, but not under council control. The entire facility was now operating on human protocols, the supposedly primitive species demonstrating mastery over technologies the council had thought safely beyond their reach. Your ships throughout council space are currently contained within human quantum fields, Santos continued, her voice steady. Your secure communications are under our control. Your hidden weapons platforms have been neutralized. You have exactly one chance to prevent this situation from becoming much worse. The council members watched in horror as more displays activated, showing human vessels emerging from dimensional pockets around every major council world. Ships that shouldn't exist, carrying weapons that shouldn't be possible, crewed by a species that had turned decades of patronizing oversight into the perfect cover for their advancement. The terms are simple, Santos declared, placing a quantum data core on the council table. First, immediate recognition of human sovereignty and technological independence. Second, full disclosure to all developing species about your true intentions for their civilizations. Third, reparations for the resources you've stripped from countless worlds under the guise of guidance. You cannot possibly expect. High Counselor Ixel began. We expect exactly what we demand, Santos cut him off. The quantum core I just placed contains enough evidence of your manipulations to spark rebellions across 1,000 worlds. Every species you've deceived, every civilization you've stripped of resources while pretending to be benevolent mentors, all will know the truth. The council chamber's quantum field rippled as the humans' words sank in. They had not just outmaneuvered the council technologically. They had gathered enough evidence to shatter the foundation of their authority throughout the galaxy. You have 1 standard hour to comply, Santos stated, turning to leave. After that, we release everything, every secret, every manipulation, every hidden agenda, exposed to every species in council space. And if we refuse? The Meridian representative's voice quavered. Santos paused at the door, her expression cold. Then you'll discover exactly what humanity can do when we stop being patient. Your hour begins now. As the human ambassador left, the council members looked at each other in growing panic. The species they had thought safely contained and controlled had not only surpassed them technologically, but had turned their own methods against them with devastating effectiveness. The game they had thought they were winning had been lost years ago. They just hadn't realized it until now. A new dawn. 6 months after humanity's revelation, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The former council chambers, once a symbol of concentrated power and manipulation, now hosted representatives from every spacefaring species, former victims and oppressors alike, meeting as equals under humanity's watchful eye. Admiral Sarah Kane stood at the chamber's observation window, watching ships from 100 different species navigate the space around the station. The quantum fields that had once hidden human advancement now maintained peace, ensuring no species could dominate another through technological superiority. The Arctians have completed their withdrawal from the Outer Rim development zones, Dr. Maya Patel reported, joining her at the window. The indigenous species there are already showing remarkable progress without their guidance. Amazing how quickly civilizations can advance when they're not being deliberately held back, Kane observed dryly. Any word from the former council races, still adjusting to their new reality. It's quite a shock going from galactic overlords to just another group of species trying to make amends. The reparations payments are proceeding on schedule, though some are more gracious about it than others. The quantum displays around them showed the transformation spreading across known space. Former council technology, once hoarded and weaponized, was being freely shared under human supervision. Species that had been kept artificially primitive were discovering their true potential, while their former oppressors learned the humility they had once forced on others. You know what the most interesting part is? Maya mused, watching the group of formerly subjugated species representatives excitedly discussing their newfound independence. They still don't fully understand how we did it. They can't comprehend how we advanced so far, while appearing to stay exactly where they wanted us. That's because they never understood human nature, General Chen added, joining them at the window. They thought patience was weakness. They mistook careful observation for acceptance. They never realized that every restriction they placed on us just motivated us to find a way around it. The quantum networks, now transparent and accessible to all, hummed with activity as species that had once been isolated from each other began sharing knowledge freely. The artificial hierarchies that had kept the galaxy divided were dissolving, replaced by genuine cooperation and mutual advancement. We've received another request, Chen continued, a slight smile playing at his lips. The Meridians want to know if we consider sharing our quantum concealment technology. Apparently, they're concerned about other species potentially using their own methods against them. Ironic, Kane commented. They're actually starting to think like we did, always preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. Speaking of preparation, Maya interjected, the quantum monitoring network just picked up some interesting signals from beyond the galaxy's edge. It seems we might not be alone in this part of the universe after all. The three humans shared a knowing look. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson about underestimating humanity. Any new challengers would face a united front of species who had learned from experience that appearances could be deceiving. "Well," Kane said, watching as another group of formerly oppressed species ships practiced maneuvers with their new quantum drives, "if anyone else is out there thinking about playing games with developing civilizations, they're in for quite a surprise." The galaxy's learned its lesson about patience. Indeed, Chen agreed. They've learned that sometimes the most dangerous opponent isn't the one who strikes first, but the one who waits, watches, and prepares. As the sun rose over the galactic core, casting its light across the transformed landscape of civilizations, learning to truly cooperate for the first time, humanity's representatives continued their vigilant watch. They had turned decades of patronizing oversight into the perfect cover for advancement, and in doing so, had reshaped the galaxy's future. The age of manipulation and control was over. A new era of genuine progress and cooperation had begun. And if any force, known or unknown, ever again mistook patience for weakness, they would find an entire galaxy ready to prove them wrong.